Okay, hi everyone. Thank you very much for attending this webinar. And in this webinar, we're going to talk about a secure file sync and share solution for your business and how you can find one. And also, we're going to tackle the issue what file sync and share actually is, and hopefully, this is going to be relevant for your business. But before we dive headfirst into the webinar, let me just briefly talk about Cloudwords and what we do, who we are. So over the last 3 years, we've helped over hundreds of businesses to really find the best cloud syncing and sharing solution, best cloud storage solution. And our website, cloudwords.net, receives over 200 visitors each month, and we have 10 employees in 3 different countries, but we are basically headquartered in Berlin. Now, a little bit about me so that you know who's talking to you today. My name is Mauricio Prinslao, and I'm the co-founder of Cloudwords. We've started the portal 3 years ago, but I've been dabbling into cloud storage and cloud file syncing, well, probably for the last 5 years. And I've created a lot of videos that you can find on YouTube. I've written hundreds of articles, and I've analyzed, well, probably over 50 enterprise file syncing and sharing solution. The abbreviation is EFSS. And, well, I guess having written 100 of articles and creating all those videos makes me kind of an expert, so I know what I'm talking about. Now, basically, I guess you guys all know this movie. And I love the quote at the end of the movie because it really shows how old concepts are basically still being used when there are much better options available. In this case, it is the roads, because basically where they were going, they don't need roads because they're flying with their cars. And especially the enterprise and companies are or tend to be slow movers. And this presentation will show you how you can rethink the way you and your employees work together, how your team works together, and how a file syncing and sharing solution changes the way you work, and how to avoid being stuck in old concepts like sending large email attachments and what have you. So what are we going to cover in this webinar? First of all, we're going to talk about what file syncing and sharing actually is and how it can help your business. Then we're going to look at a couple of the challenges and the status quo. And also, we're going to look at a solution that we use here at our office and that we recommend to businesses so that you can really know what are your next steps in case you're interested. So let me present Emma. This is Emma. She is a design team leader at a digital marketing agency, and she works a lot at the office. She has a lot of work hours, but she also has 2 kids. So basically, she agreed with her company 2 days of home office per week, and that obviously poses a lot of challenges. She has a workstation at her company. She owns several mobile devices, a tablet, a phone, or 2 phones actually, and she has a laptop at home, which, well, is sort of for work, but she also uses that privately sometimes to watch television shows or what have you. Now, she deals with a couple of challenges in her business and with her personal life. Now, she deals as a digital marketing agency. She deals with a lot of large files, for example, Photoshop files, video files, raw image files, etc. So there are also a lot of presentations for clients that need to be sent around in team meetings. You know, you have to do the agendas, you have to update the documents, you have to send them around for all the team members. So she needs those files both on her workstation at the office. She needs it on her laptop at home, and also sometimes she needs a presentation or spreadsheet on her mobile device, and maybe even needs to make some edits. And she needs to be that all those versions of the files are in sync on all devices at all times. Now, how are most people dealing with these challenges that Emma is facing? Now, Obviously, the first and easiest way is to send emails to oneself, and that's basically what a lot of people are doing. I mean, even I did it before having a file syncing and sharing solution. Or people are using USB thumb drives a lot, just plugging in the USB thumb drives, transferring the files onto it, and maybe losing it on the way with a presentation on it, or even sending dozens of emails back and forth to really know what the status in a presentation actually is. Now, wouldn't it be actually cool if Emma could send the emails or send the files without having to worry about the file size limit that she actually has? So, or maybe even get rid of email altogether. Remember the road quote from the beginning? Or what she also doesn't want to worry about is where are her files located, because they're always with her and on her device. She knows she's always working on the most current version, and this will save countless of hours of communicating back and forth with clients and coworkers and figuring out which is now the right version of the file that we've been working on. So we're now going to cover what a file syncing and sharing solution actually is. Now, a file sync and share solution enables you and your files to work from anywhere you are, because those files are synced from your local drive, from your mobile device, from your servers. They are synced to the cloud so that you can access them anywhere from any device, and especially from mobile devices, anywhere where you have an internet connection, basically. Files can be then shared internally and externally with coworkers, team members, or externally with clients. And most importantly, a file sync and share solution allows you to really granularly control the security levels. So who can see what file at what time, and you can also revoke access rights to those files. Now, the edits to those files, to presentations, to spreadsheets, are synced bidirectionally to the selected endpoints. So when you add something to a presentation on your mobile device, that is being synced to the presentation, to the same presentation on your laptop and on the computers of everybody with whom you shared that presentation with. And also, a good file syncing and sharing solution acts as a backup solution, so that when your business experiences a data loss or a hard drive failure, you can be up and running quickly. So how does it help your business? It actually eases your pain of sending large email attachments to clients and coworkers, and everybody on your team is going to be on the same status, because there are no time-consuming phone calls or email conversations that you need to send back and forth. And you can enable your mobile workforce to close leads faster and be just much more efficient, which boosts your business's bottom line, because they can get to the client files faster, they can get the case files faster, and the information they need faster. You can really forget about the headache of your staff using unapproved consumer-grade file sharing solutions. This is especially important for larger businesses of 10, 20 employees plus. Those really have problems because their employees are using Dropbox or Google Drive or OneDrive, and they don't know where their files are located anymore. And that's something, if you have a file syncing share solution for your business, if you have that in place, you know where your files are. And as I said before, you can get your business up and running again if a hard drive fails. And it's actually not a question of if, it's a question of when the hard drive will fail. Now, data security is obviously crucial, and it's important you decide who is in control of your files. Now, the question you need to ask yourself is, are you or your employees deciding on what file sync and share solution your company uses? Are your employees using Dropbox or OneDrive or Google Drive inside the company? That poses essentially a security risk, because it is just a fact that users bring all kinds of devices into the organization, and basically they do that because they simply don't care about the security of the company, and it's so easy to just share a file with the current consumer grade solutions that are out there. And well, as I said before, your employees just won't care about the company's security. That's basically your job, to care about security. And you have to ask yourself, are your files, your confidential files, vulnerable in case of a security breach? And actually have to ask yourself, who is protecting your business from employees and external threats? Now, internal errors, basically, they just happen, because an employee or even yourself, you could accidentally email a sensitive document to the wrong recipient. Your employees could be seeing documents on the network drive they should not see, like contracts or salaries or what have you. Also, shared files that are outdated and need to be removed are constantly lingering somewhere in the file system, and nobody actually knows what the file is about. And then there are external errors, such as sending a sensitive attachment to someone outside the organization, or leaving your laptop, smartphone, or tablet in a taxi with all these sensitive documents on it. And there's another employee-related issue that you need to think about. For example, if you just had to let go of somebody, and that person takes the smartphone with him or the laptop with him, did you remember to delete all the files, or did he delete actually all the files, all company-related files from that device? That's a question that you need to ask yourself, and which poses generally a greater risk. So you need to make sure that your business is protected at all times, and an enterprise-grade or a business-grade file sync and share solution will help you achieve that, whereby security is, for us and for our clients, always a #1 priority. And I'm going to show you now a couple of stats that show how our world is changing and how important security actually is. Because 20% of the global workforce actually telecommute. They are using their mobile devices for work files anywhere and everywhere. And if they lose files or if they lose devices, then your files of the company are in jeopardy. 45% of businesses actually use consumer cloud sites to share sensitive business information like financial files, quarterly reportings, revenue goals, etc. So 30% of employees have used unapproved cloud storage services for work-related files. That is a GlobalScape study, which could be a severe security threat for businesses. I mean, we are seeing adoption of those cloud services because they are so easy to use. It is very easy to just use Dropbox or OneDrive instead of a cumbersome FTP that your company has, or a VPN connection that your company gives your employees. So 63% of businesses use remote storage devices like USB drives to transfer confidential work files. And remember, those files are on those drives are not encrypted. So anybody who gets access to those drives does have access to your company data. So in summary, one data breach could be devastating because your company data is digital most of the time, and those files could be exposed. Now let's have a look at a little interesting statistic here, that the biggest security concerns for businesses using file sync and share software is that there is data loss or theft due to successful outside attackers on the service provider. So that is something a lot of people that are using cloud storage services are concerned about, and especially if you're using one of the more prominent services like Dropbox or OneDrive, they're obviously a high target for attackers, for hackers, because they want the user information that is on there. Now, because of those threats, because of those security threats, we have tested obviously dozens of business-grade file sync and share solution, and we think that a business should not use consumer-grade cloud storage services because of the lack of control they give you in terms of managing your files with your team and employees. So for our clients, basically, we tend to recommend a solution that that is called Autotask, and we use it ourselves here at the office. Autotask Workplace, formerly called Soonr, but they're now rebranding the product into Autotask Workplace. Why did we choose Autotask Workplace for the file synchronization and sharing? Well, first of all, the company has been founded in 2001 and is available in several locations all around the world with over 450 employees in 70 plus countries. And their file syncing and sharing solution that we're going to have a look at today offers enterprise-grade security for over 150,000 businesses, and they manage over 2 billion files. And the good thing about it is that it is very easy to use. So it has consumer-grade usability while providing enterprise-grade security. And it provides the familiar folder file structure that you and your employees are used to from your operating system. So the solution is very feature-rich because it will enable your productivity. You can edit files locally and online. You have file versions and recovery, which means if you accidentally saved a file, you can recover that from after 6 months of time. So you can always revert back to a past version without losing that file. You have automatic QR coding and scan to PDF. This is especially useful if you are on a mobile device, and to have integrations into all the other tools that you may be using, like Salesforce, Outlook, and Google Docs integration. Collaboration obviously is a very important part of the file syncing and sharing solution. Multi-user editing gets really a hassle with consumer-grade solutions because you cannot lock files when multiple persons are actually editing those files. And with Autotask, you can just lock a file and say, okay, I'm the boss, I'm editing the file now, and nobody else can access the file. And we're going to see how that works later in the demo. Now, you can obviously securely share files and folders, and if you don't want to use email, you don't have to use email because you can comment on a document and get notifications right from within the app. And also, when you plug in a new device, you can selectively pick and choose which folders and files you would like to sync to that device. So you don't have to have all of the projects locally on your computer, which may be too much for your small little hard drive on your MacBook Air. So you could say, okay, I only want to pick a specific folder or file to be synced locally because I need to edit that presentation right now. Mobility, as we've seen before, is crucial for businesses these days because you will use your mobile device to access those files. And Autotask Workplace has a built-in creation, editing, and markup feature for presentations, for documents, so you can really be productive on the go. Obviously, integrated device security is important, especially when you lose a device. So your solution needs to be able to just disable the device and then delete the data from the device, so no external entities can get access to crucial and important business data. Enterprise-grade security, as I said before, with consumer-grade solutions like Dropbox or Google Drive, you do not get the industry compliance. You do not get the security you need. Autotask Workplace has an SOC 2 Type 2 report and is also HIPAA compliant, which is important for the healthcare industry, and offers geo-redundant regional data centers in the US and Canada and the EU. The EU part is especially important if you are based in the EU and have special regulations that need the files actually to be in Europe and not in the US. So you can really control who has access to what files, and we're going to delve into that in the demo and to show you how that really works, and delete mobile devices if necessary from your synchronization stack. Obviously, the encryption takes place on the device, in transit, and in session, so you have like a triple protection security for anything you share and sync via the cloud. Two-factor authentication is very useful, so that if somebody should get your access codes, then that person also would need your smartphone in order to be able to log in to the service and get to your files. And the beauty is it works across all industry. It works across construction, healthcare, marketing and advertising, legal, finance, basically everywhere where you need to share and sync files. And we're just going to have a look at a couple of use cases right now. So construction, obviously, the need is there for a construction manager, for clients, for architects to collaborate on building design. Now, they have large files. They share architectural drawings for projects, and they share those files with subcontractors. And those subcontractors may then update the drawings and redistribute them when needed. So the old solution is obviously they would mail the files, or they would send a CD or a large email attachment even. And with Autotask, you can share projects, drawings with employees very, very easily. Then there is financial services, which really need security and granular permissions and full audit trails so that they can see who can access what file at what point in time. And this would also streamline the sales process because all the critical content is in a centralized location. For legal, obviously, it's important to have the case files ready. For example, when you're in court and you cooperate with your co-counsel and other witnesses, you need to share files quickly and get to them as fast as possible. And the old solution would be maybe to upload the files via your company's servers and then get to them quickly. So the new solution, the Autotask Workplace solution, is that you can securely create folders inside the cloud and then can send easily those files to the parties that need access to it. Nonprofit organizations also benefit from that solution because they're a lot out in the field. They need a HIPAA compliant solution, secure access to files and folders, and a simple backup way. So that is what Autotask does. It provides you with a backup option for files and allows for multi-user editing and versioning. So even if somebody deletes a file or saves the wrong version of a file, you can always go back in time and get to the right version of it. So those are just a couple of, we're covering those real quick, but those are just a couple of the use cases where you can basically use this solution for. But of course, now you may be able to think about your own situation. What do you need for your business? Now, what are basically your next steps? Now, first of all, I hope you have gained an understanding of of what file sync and share actually is. If you are interested in trying this solution, please do send us an email at mauricio@cloudwords.net, and I'll be leaving you the information in the chat box. Also, you can sign up for a trial of the service just presented here of Autotask Workplace. You just have to go to cloudwords.net /GAT/AWP, where you would get 3 user licenses for 150 gigabytes. If you need more licenses, just let me know. I can add more licenses to it. Or you can book a free demo with me in training for your specific company needs at this URL. Now, I wanted to show you a little bit how Autotask Workplace actually looks in practice and how we use it here at our company so that you have a better understanding. Let me just quickly put all the information into the chat box so that you don't have to worry about noting it all down. So let me just see here. When you look at a file syncing and sharing solution, it is separated into 2 parts. On the one hand, you have the web client where you can access all your projects and client folders and share the documents. And on the other hand, you have a client that you install on your computer that would add the so-called shared folder to your system. Now I'm showing you all this on a Macintosh computer, but it works, of course, on a Windows PC as well. So here you can see all my projects that I have enabled, that I've uploaded to the cloud. And the beauty is, once you have once you downloaded your shared projects, you just have to right-click on a project, and then you can, for example, create a public link to that project. Now, where's the difference between a public and a team link, for example? Now, a public link is, for example, if you want to actually send that folder to your clients. So you would create a public link, and then you have several settings. Now, you could say, okay, I want to send the original file to my client so that he or she could then edit the files accordingly, or you want to convert the file into a PDF version, for example, if somebody does not have Microsoft Office installed. Now, it allows you also to upload and enable that folder. So your client could actually send you the contract back, or give you more information on the file, or upload a new version of the file, and you get all more security features in here. For example, you could say you want to auto-expire the public link so that you don't forget to unshare the folder with a client. That is basically how the public link sharing works. And you can also say, okay, let's look at who is actually on my team. So you can see I have 4 team members. And if you want to add a team member to a project to collaborate, you can really do that easily via the web panel. You can see this mirrors basically the view of all the projects that I have synced to my computer. So I could say, okay, I want to share this folder with somebody on my team. So I would go to share project, and then I could select, okay, I want to share this project with Nina. And I don't want to give Nina full permissions. I only want her to be able to maybe to read the file contents. So you have the granular controls of who can see what inside that folder. And you can also decide whether you want her to be able to reshare or create the public links that I just showed you. And once you click on Share Project, that project will be shared with her, and she can then choose whether she wants to sync that project to her computer, or only edit the folder in the cloud. So another interesting feature that we can cover, let's say I have shared this financials folder with Nina. As you can see, I can go into the folder and see who is actually the folder shared with, and I see the recipient is Nina, and she has full access and reshare permissions. If I wanted to, I could go in and edit the permissions here if I wanted to revoke a couple of those permissions. And you can see we have a couple of files inside the folder. Now, Nina wants to go and edit those files via her mobile device. So let's actually pull up the mobile device. Now, this is obviously my mobile device, but you get the idea. So this is the financials folder that you can see here, the exact same files. Now, Nina has marked the presentation as a favorite, which will then download the presentation to her mobile device. And now she's on the road, and she needs to edit that file. So she can simply open the document, and you can see there's the Autotask app opens the presentation and gives you several options here. So you can really go into the presentation and mark it up, something like that, or draw something, mark inside the presentation, and all the edits that you do are then saved in real time and updated into the presentation if you wanted to. So these are only like a couple of the features that you can do, and you see really how the solution enables your your mobile workforce if you are working a lot with client presentations and if you are a lot on the go. So another important steps obviously is the configuration and the reports, because you can actually see what happens to your files. Now, I can see that Nina has updated her account. I can see that she has access to several projects that are been shared with her. She changed the presentation in here, and you can in the devices you can see what are the devices that have actually access to all of your projects inside the Soonr cloud. Now, if we go, for example, into a presentation here, let's see where it is, presentation webinars. So I could say, okay, this has been edited on February 22nd. I can go in and say, okay, let me have a look at the previous versions of that file. Now I can see, okay, 3 weeks ago there has been a version edit of me, so I can go back and, if I wanted to, revert to that state and get this presentation back to me in the state that's actually currently in. Now I just wanted to show you briefly, and I'm going to switch to the Windows app. So here I have Microsoft Windows running, and if you're working with Outlook, I mentioned that email attachments obviously are a hassle, and you certainly can relate to that. So when you have Outlook installed and you want to write a new email, you can do that. And let's say you wanted to send like the latest presentation to to somebody on your team, you have a little plugin here where you can just attach from Soonr, from your projects, you can attach the files, the project files, to that email. So I would say I want to have this file and I want to attach this link, and it would pop in right into your email program. And once your client clicks on it, the client can see the presentation and download the presentation and even upload the presentation again via email if you wanted to. So this is how you can really work with your apps and your programs that you're used to and that fit to your workflow, because Autotask fits right into the Microsoft Outlook program. So that is, as you can see, it works also on the Windows device. So when we open the preferences, I could go into the settings and I can have a look at my backup settings. Now, I mentioned before that a good file syncing and sharing solution should also offer a separate cloud backup feature. And that's what you can do in here. You can pick and choose any file or folder on your computer and then back that up into the Soonr cloud, and that will be backed up separately from the file synchronization. So if data loss happens, you are back up and running quickly because you can just restore your most important business files. If we have a look at the workplace sync, you can also see that there are a couple of network settings that you can do. So for example, if you're on a weak Wi-Fi, you can say, okay, I want to sync only if I'm on a Wi-Fi, but I don't want to back up in order to save bandwidth. So you can really drill into the specific settings in here to make sure that you're properly set up. Now, I would say I have shown you how the project works, how Soonr works, and how you can sync files and work more productively. And now I would basically ask you to write something in the chat box if you have some questions regarding this solution and how it may apply to your business. So if you have any questions, just feel free to write something in the chat box, and we'll be happy to answer any questions you may have. Okay, so one of the One of the frequent questions we get a lot is what happens when you connect a new device to your team. Now, do you have to sync everything to the cloud? And the good news is no, you don't have to sync everything, because that would, if you have gigabytes in the cloud, that would be actually pretty cumbersome. So if you go to the folder sync settings, you can actually, if you have some projects in here, you can say, okay, I want to selectively sync. First of all, I want to ask, I want Soonr to ask me before syncing anything, and then you can go in and selectively sync the files. So you could say, okay, I don't want to sync that file, that folder to my cloud, to my computer. I only want to have this test folder here synced so that it's not cluttering all of my computer with files I don't need. So whenever you edit something inside your shared folders, for example, if you were to delete this folder here, that folder would be deleted from your computer, but it would not be deleted from the cloud. So you could always go back into the cloud and resync that folder with your computer. If you wanted to delete it completely, you would have to go into the web client and go to your projects, click the folder, and say, I want to delete the folder entirely from the cloud. And then the folder would be deleted immediately. Okay, so I would say if there are no more questions, thank you very much for participating in this webinar. It's been a blast. I hope you learned something about file sync and share and about the solution that we're using here. As I said before, please do write me an email at mauricio@cloudwords.net if you have any questions, or schedule a call with me so that we can discuss the issue or issues for your specific use case and for your company. Thank you very much for attending, and hopefully we're going to see us in the next webinar.